German media has a strong pro-Israel bias. Even after months of slaughter and destruction in Gaza, newspapers and broadcasters of all political leanings are parroting Israeli army press releases and, according to critical journalists, are unable to show empathy for the dead and dying in Gaza.
Israel hat nach eigenen Angaben bisher rund 10.000 Hamas-Terroristen im Gazastreifen eliminiert.
A good example of this is this headline from the 5th of January from Germany's biggest media brand Welt, which is both a broadsheet and a broadcaster. Around 9,000 terrorists killed in Gaza, reads the headline, which repeats verbatim Israel's calculation that of the then 25,000 Palestinians killed in Gaza, every man killed was a terrorist. God Save the IDF reads another article by Welt's editor-in-chief. The article calls Berlin's Neukölln district, known for its Middle Eastern and Turkish communities and Gaza solidarity protests, a no-go area for Jews, rife with Judenhass or Jew hate. This is part of a wider discourse in Germany that blames migrants for anti-Semitic acts, when statistics show the far right is largely responsible. Die Welt is the flagship paper of the Axel Springer Corporation, the company of the former media mogul Axel Springer, known as Germany's answer to Rupert Murdoch. In 1967, Springer wrote that reconciliation between Germany and the Jewish people, including support for Israel, would be one of the company's 4 publishing principles.
Today in West Germany, the mass circulation Bild Zeitung alleged that
the Springer Corporation also owns Europe's most read newspaper, the tabloid Bild Zeitung. According to a German media monitoring site, Bild Zeitung has featured almost no coverage of civilian suffering in Gaza, opting instead for Israeli army propaganda, like this piece about Netanyahu's desert lionesses who shine like models in uniform on their tanks, their nails painted blood red for battle, and woe betide anyone who gets in their way. Like in Die Welt, Bild is filled with articles describing pro-Palestinian sentiments as Judenhass or Jew hate. I counted 10 in the past week. The newspaper has even singled out individual Palestinian activists to label them as Judenhasser or Jew haters, knowing these activists will struggle to challenge them for printing false allegations. In 2021, the company's CEO hoisted up an Israeli flag in front of their HQ and said, whoever had a problem with it should look for a new job. A journalist I spoke to at the Springer-owned Update news service was told by their boss to emphasize Israeli stories over Palestinian ones and to frame Israel's attack on Gaza as a justified response. While Springer publications are generally considered to be on the conservative right, the liberal left outlets have also shown a blatant pro-Israel bent.
Ausgelöst wurde die derzeitige Krise der UNRWA von Vorwürfen Israels, wonach mindestens 12 Mitarbeiter der Behörde in die Angriffe der Hamas verwickelt waren.
This short report from Arte repeats the unevidenced accusation from Israel that 12 employees of UNRWA, the UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency, were involved in the 7th of October attacks. The British government, which has an intelligence partnership with Israel, said it has seen no evidence of this allegation, while the UN said they have found no evidence that any of the people named by Israel were involved. While this report does include voices in support of UNRWA, the video is centered on unfounded accusations made by Israel and the US. It's often said that Germany's support for Israel is due to its guilt from perpetrating the Holocaust. But this is only part of the story. Germany has vested financial interests through trade and weapons contracts. The publisher Axel Springer also has vested interests in Israel. An investigation from The Intercept found that the Springer-owned Israeli website Yad 2 hosts adverts for properties in illegal West Bank settlements. In short, settler organizations are paying Springer to advertise properties on stolen Palestinian land in the occupied West Bank. Highlighting the links between Israel and the German press isn't to legitimize conspiracies that Jewish people or Israelis control the media, but to highlight how, newspapers that claim to hold power to account are not only siding with their own government's support for Israel, but the most powerful country in the world, the US, without whom Israel would not exist. And while these publications call for Israel's right to exist, they simultaneously downplay the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza, who are facing a very real and current threat to their existence.